is Matt Casalo with the RhinestoneWorld.com.
It's Richard Greaves with ScreenMaking.com.
This is Stacy Marshall with Printwear Magazine.
Brian Walker with RTP Apparel.
And you're listening to Two Regular Guys
Podcast. Hosted by Aaron Montgomery and Terry Combs.
Keep on listening.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. It is Friday, March 19, 2021. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. Today, just going to be Terry and I talking about marketing a decorating business in a lockdown environment. So I'm excited to talk about this. You know me, Terry. Marketing, I will get super excited about. I jump up on soapboxes. I do all sorts of crazy stuff when we talk about marketing. But this is actually a really fun opportunity for me because I get to, in a way, kind of grill you a little bit about marketing. I know you're getting prepared for your live screen printing classes to be happening again soon. So, maybe some new takes. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts here today on marketing. Yeah,
exactly. And I will be updating my in-person classes with a lot more about internet marketing and social media, that sort of thing. And so that's going to be our show today. Now, here are my shortcomings today. They are resurfacing the street in front of my house right now. So
this very moment.
You can hear that. And this morning, my very expensive podcast microphone is not working. And so I'm on my Bluetooth, so hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
You do sound a smidge different, but I think we'll get through. As we were talking with Eric before the show started, I don't think people show up because of our sound quality and the entertainment value. I mean, I maybe a little bit, but
maybe the dad joke. But.
Yeah, probably the dad joke, really. So I guess I'll just have to tell the dad joke today, and then we'll be all good, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, regulators checking in already. Wade, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Sandy, good morning. And sorry, Eric, I'm throwing stuff at you out of order. Richard, good morning. And Christine, good morning to you. And Lenny. And Lenny says, definitely for your voices. So.
Oh, there it is.
It's the laughing. It's the yeah. So hopefully, what it's really for is for the content. How about that?
Exactly. It's all about the content, Eric. It's not about the bass, about the bass.
So. We could get into that. No, okay. We've got things to get to here today. So a couple quick announcements, and Eric says content is king, right?
Exactly.
we may have heard that before. So. And then we've got Tanya and Dean checking in. Good morning. And Craig says, good morning from Boston. Just starting to offer sublimation and heat transfer printing. So good for you, Craig.
Very cool.
Way to get out there and get after it. Good stuff, as I like to say. And in fact, in the OSG community, that normally warrants a drink. So just water, but hey, okay. All right. So, Terry, a couple quick news items here. The thing that I got is I got a note from Scott over at the DAX show. And, we obviously know that in-person trade shows are kind of a, subject to change kind of scenario. But he confirmed that they got what he indicated was the final green light for Kansas City, meaning that things look really good for Kansas City to happen on July 9th through the 10th. And that was confirmed by the venue. So that's really exciting. Also heard, I didn't get this one, but I was talking to Clay from CorelTrainer.com yesterday. And he also mentioned that NBM had sent out some information basically saying that Irving is going to happen. Guaranteed kind of thing. I don't know if they said guaranteed, but
well, Texas is open. So
yep, Texas is open. So it we might be able to be back to some in-person stuff here sooner than maybe we thought. So I'm excited to see that. But then real quick, Terry, before we get to your news item, I wanted to go back also and bring up the DAX program again. So thank you, Eric. DAXshow.com is where you can go check that out. So one of the things that DAX has done to kind of have a contingency to make sure that, as we probably talked about before, all of our industry trade shows, we love everything that they do because they're all about the education. They're all about bringing good information. They're all about bringing people together and just growing the industry. And DAX is certainly a big part of that. Their seminar tracks are fantastic. They're very curated. They don't just go with anybody that signs up and that kind of thing. So their seminars, what they decided to do, so they didn't risk it getting canceled, was that the typical seminars, the 80, 90-minute seminars that they do at the shows, those will actually be virtual this year. There will be a few on-site workshops that occur, that are those half-day workshops that they've done in the past, so at the live show. But there won't be any seminars at the live events. All of those seminars are actually being done live here. I think they kick off next week is when the first one, I think it's next Tuesday is when that kicks off. I'll have to check my calendar. So
I was going to say, I have one on Thursday. So
yeah. And I know Clay from Curl Trainers doing one on Tuesday. So I don't know if there's one earlier than that. I'll check my schedule here just to be sure. But starting next week, those seminars are kicking off. I've already had a chance to talk to a lot of the presenters because I get to produce them this year. And
who's producing yours though? Who's going to be on the other side of
That's interesting that you say that, because Scott actually offered to do that. I think I'm just going to
you wouldn't get a chance to talk though.
I know. So we'll see. I think I'm just going to do it myself. I should be okay. But I've done a couple of these things like this before, so I think I'll be all right. But so getting to talk to him, and then I got a sneak peek at some of the information. Your seminar, Terry, is going to be fantastic. That just this is like what you need to know to start a screen printing business. So if you're at all thinking about it, go sign up for Terry's class. I think it's $25-$35. I mean, super cheap. So anyhow, go to daxshows.com. That's my pitch on the seminars here, because you're going to get great content. We have the normal speakers like Terry, like Eric, like Christine, the people that you know and love and can't wait to see at the DAX programs. But there's also Dane Clement, Charlie Tabley, the crew there. But you also have some new speakers that you haven't seen at DAX before. Bruce Ackerman from Protavo is going to be talking about business in a post-COVID world. Ali Banholzer has got a couple of different seminars she's putting on. Kelly Walter, who we just had on the podcast last week, is going to be presenting as well. So, and then I mentioned Clay. I mean, Dave Harding from ACG. So lots of great information.
He's actually from.
You're right. DCA.
Yeah.
All those acronyms I get wrong. So DCA, not ACG. That's
ACG is his competitor.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Dave. I'll have to buy him a beer for that one. So there we go. So $35 for each session. And Eric starts on Tuesday as well. And Christine's got hers on the 31st. So if you're not signed up for this, just go do it. It'll be worth every penny that you invest into that and more. So, and you get to watch them later and whatnot as well. So,
Aaron, I am going to miss walking in live into my seminar room and knowing immediately that Charlie Tabley was there ahead of me, because what happened in here? It's like a screen printing explosion. There's stuff everywhere.
Well, maybe I'll reach out to your your daughter there and ask her just to swing by the house and just really make a big mess right before it, so you feel more comfortable. I know
cans and
just really make a mess, because I know that these, you get really nervous for these things. It's not really your cup of tea, but
right.
Oh wait, no, that's the opposite of that.
Aaron, another good thing about these being virtual is now that all these seminars got pushed, or I'm sorry, not seminars, but shows are being all crammed into the second half of the year. There's a lot of overlap, and a lot of us speak at multiple shows, so you get to a point where you have to decide which one you're going to, and so by having this virtual, it's going to alleviate that situation.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, there's no overlapping live opportunities, so you get to get in there live, ask questions, be part of it, plus then watch them later. In fact, Todd said the more you buy, the more you save too. You'll be able to watch up to 3 times, and they will be available for 2 months. So I think this, this is that hybrid approach that I'm actually excited about. I think this is going to actually improve the experience for everybody. You'll still be able to get there, touch and feel, but then, if you can't make it, there's still educational opportunities. These are the good things that come from a pandemic. So,
Right.
Yeah. And then howdy, Jay. Glad to see you here. And and Eric says, how will I ever perform without the teasing from my peers? Well, I'll still be there, Eric. So if you need me to get in there and tease you a couple times, I'm totally down for that.
And who knows, maybe I'll sign up.
There you go. Yeah. But Dean says, not sure how I feel about the shows. Is it like going to a football game, cheap seats, but the experience or home on the sofa and watch the game? So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I just think that, it really in an environment like where you're teaching something like what we're going to be sharing through the DAX stuff. Yeah, if people can do that from the comfort of their home and still be able to participate and ask questions, you get out of things what you put into it, right? So if you just kind of have it on in the background and you're kind of half into it, then you're going to get about half out of it. But if you're prepared, you've got a notebook in front of you, you're ready, you're sitting there, you're engaged, you're asking questions, you're participating, you're going to get a lot more out of that. So I think it's a really good thing.
And you can watch again. So just like the NCAA tournament that's starting right now, you can watch the replays. Was that a 3-pointer? Was it a 2? So
all right. Well, we'll go to the tape for sure, Terry.
I'm sure there will be some stepping out of bounds. So.
Yeah, clearly. Oh, you're out of bounds, Terry. You're out of bounds. I will try not to do that, but no promises. Okay. Well, what do you have there, Terry?
I have something from Screen Printing Magazine. It's called Let's Talk About It. It's creating a path towards a more diverse and inclusive screen printing industry. Joined Adrienne Palmer, and she is everywhere these days. She is the editor-in-chief of Screen Printing Magazine and also graduated from Ohio University, just like me.
Sweet.
And she's going to have a conversation with 3 Black female screen printing business owners. And discussion will include how to increase diversity in the industry and in your shop, the importance of infusing culture, how can shop owners navigate this dialogue within their companies, and much more. This is a live virtual event, just like we're talking about, so you can bring your questions. We have a register here, and we'll certainly have this up on our website. But you can also find it by searching Screen Printing Magazine. So,
exactly.
Aaron,
exactly.
You have a dad joke for us.
I do, and it's not the typical 1-2. It's just a one-liner. So you guys buckle up. Yeah, no guessing this time. But so buckle up. Are we ready?
Ready.
All right.
Ready. Let's hear it.
Okay. Well, once I tried to catch a fog, but I missed. Now, I cannot take credit for that one. Renee Townsend, a good friend of OSG, and so that came by way of Renee through Todd. So I'm third party, but I'm like, that's a good one. I got to share that. So
she's like, that's not what I said at all.
It was actually a meme. So that was what was shared.
Oh, okay.
But yes,
all right, Aaron. Hey, before we jump into the meat of the program, we want to thank everyone for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We are always looking for new guests. So if you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com. Calendly.com/2, the number 2, Regular Guys, with your ideas, and we might be able to get you on the show. If you are listening to the podcast version, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys with your industry friends so they can become regulators too. We would love and appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, or wherever you do your podcast listening. It's really important to us that we get those reviews. If you are watching us live right now, please join in with your comments and questions. And Aaron, especially today, we're going to be talking about ways to promote your business, and we would love to have the regulators give their ideas as well. We've got 5 categories we're going to talk about. I added a 5th one last night, Aaron, because I thought, I don't think we have enough content. And your response was, I think this is going to be a 2-parter.
Yeah. Yep. Because never fails. We go, oh, I don't think we've got enough. Let's add a little bit more, and then we get through 3 of them or 2 of them, and
Right.
we'll see. We'll see. Fingers
All
crossed.
right. Very good.
All right. Well, let's hear a quick word from my company that I do with Todd Downing, that together with Todd, and it's called Our Success Group, and let's hear what we're up to over there. Are you looking to move your business forward and make it a full-time success that not only supports you, but also can support your family? Todd Downing and I launched Our Success Group. Our mission is to provide resources that empower business owners to achieve their idea of success. What we learned when Todd started his own decorating business, and I was a pioneer of the industry's first podcast, was people were hoarding all of the information, or it was just disorganized and had no basis in real results. Both Todd and I saw really nice people fail because they didn't have the basics and a foundation. We don't want you to struggle to launch or grow your business. We want you to thrive, hit the ground running, and be good citizens of your market. If you are interested in learning more and would like to get some free resources, just fill out the form over at oursuccessgroup.com/empowered. That's empowered, EMPOWERED. All right. Well, definitely go and check that out. And there's some great resources over there. So we'd appreciate you guys checking that out, and always accepting new members into the program, and love getting to work with folks and help them build the foundation of their business. So
we were just talking about being inclusive. Look at you.
There you go.
New members.
Come one, come all. We're completely inclusive. That's right. All right. Well, Terry, so let's get into what we're here to talk about today. Kind of this idea of, okay, new normal, current normal, whatever you want to call it. It's different, right? What we
remember
did,
when.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's the part that is most challenging for folks, is the fact that this isn't like, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we used to do it this way, and now it's changed. This is like 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, we did it this way, and now it's drastically changed. So it's the speed of the change, I think, that really trips up a lot of folks. So talk to us about that, Terry. Let's dive right in. Why is that the case?
Well, Aaron, and the thing about this COVID situation is, there are actually people who are currently in our industry that have never been to a trade show because there haven't been any. It was just a year ago that we were in Irving, Texas, and after day one, told to go home. The Dallas County has shut us down. So, and it goes much further than trade shows. A lot of our businesses, a lot of folks that we know in the industry, their businesses were shut down, or they took equipment home and printing out of their garage just to service, some of their better customers. And, and some of us all, on the other hand, haven't skipped a beat. We're right there working, but the chance for us to get out and shake hands with somebody or talk to somebody face to face has kind of gone away. And whether our own communities are locked down or people are just hesitant to go out and take a risk and walk into a place of business. So we want to talk today about some of the ways that a current business, or especially a new business, can get somebody to know who we are, know where we are, know what we have to offer. So I came up with 5 categories to talk about. And the first one, Aaron, is, and this is something that's been true all along. It's just especially true now.
Yeah.
Make it easy to buy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Terry, before we get into this, and I know you've got these 5 categories, and these are fantastic. I want to just real quick go back to what you were talking about there, that where you said that this is especially important now, but it's always been important. But here's so we've got Alan saying, we call it next normal, things always change.
I like it.
Dale says it isn't the new normal, it's more accurately the current reality, as it will change as we move forward.
Sure.
So Yeah, Dale says Terry is reverbing badly. Unfortunately, yeah, Terry's microphone is dead, so he's using his Bluetooth. Hopefully, it's not terrible, but we'll see how it goes here, Terry. I wouldn't worry about it too much, though. I think we'll be okay. The content is good, so remember, content is king, right? But what I guess what I wanted to share there is this whole notion of what reality, what normal is. I mean, some people, this wasn't a big change for them. They were already doing this, so everybody has their own quote unquote reality or normal. It's just when your normal was face to face, those kind of walk-in business, those types of things. I think that makes you go, okay, what's the new normal? Right. Or what's the new normal for me? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and this isn't all bad. The way things have changed. I think that and we talked about this last week with the women garment decorating, that a lot of the things that have happened, it's like, you know what, this works better like this. My son Chris works for Dropbox in New York City, and they've already decided that, you know what, we're not going to have regular office hours ever again. We're going to have an office space that's available to you on Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday it's going to be somebody else, and maybe Friday is meeting day or whatever. But they're like, we're getting everything we need to accomplish done just the way we're set up. And Aaron, I've been working from home for 7 years.
Yeah.
Because I was in New Jersey working for Equipment Zone, and decided that nope, that's all the snow I want. And
you've met your quota.
I've met my quota, shoveled my last shovelful, and decided to move back to Arizona. And Equipment Zone said, well, hey, let's just keep doing what we're doing. You just do it from there. And of course, at the time, what I said was, listen, I'm either on the phone or I'm on an airplane. It doesn't matter if I'm living in Ridgewood, New Jersey, or Phoenix, Arizona. So, yeah. I think there's a lot of that as well, that people are kind of reevaluating, saying, well, this isn't all a bad thing. So
yeah, totally. And so, in fact, Kim says, I'm scared to go to a trade show now. I might be asleep by 9 p.m. I won't be able to hang out with my people anymore. That's funny. And then Todd shares, remember when people said Amazon was a crazy concept? It's now, a norm for a lot of folks. So,
it's all pronounced, right. Todd, it's pronounced Skynet.
Skynet, yes.
They're really taking over now.
All right. And Alan says, you're fine, Terry. So just find that happy medium. All right. So let's go back to your first point, that your first category here. You said it was make it easy to buy. So help walk us through that. How do we make it easy to buy?
Yeah, Aaron, first of all, let's all be aware, most of us are selling to customers who are not professional buyers. So they want to buy from somebody that's going to make it easy for them. In other words, I'm going to take care of everything. Now, I've been on this soapbox for 20 years, telling people just make it easy for people to buy. It's more true today than it ever was. Some of the things that you can do to make it easy to buy, and again, this is something I've been talking about for a long time, but again, more important today is offer fulfillment. And what does that mean? You be the customer's warehouse. You drop ship for them. You offer them the menu of how they want it packaged. And there's a decorator that I visited his shop about 7 or 8 months ago, and just the shipping area was huge, because he had like 30 different papers that he will put in for individual wrapping, and everything is perfectly folded and bagged, and the customer's label is on the box, and that's his entire business. That's all he does, is he prints for people who have Etsy shops, and that's a huge business. I mean, anybody who's been to Etsy knows that there's a billion different things you can buy. Well, guess what? Most of those people are not decorating those products. They have companies like us doing it for them, and they're selling at retail price, so they'll pay a premium for what you have to offer. The example that I used to give, Aaron, when you and I used to do seminars together, was the lawn care folks. They go through shirts and hats and sweatshirts like crazy because they get torn and dirty beyond washing, and so rather than having that case of shirts in the back room, and you hire a new employee, and that new employee is a medium, and you go back and gosh darn it, the medium box is empty. I've got double X and I've got small. Will either one of those work for you? I guess I'll call my screen printer to have them make some more shirts.
Yeah.
You do that. All that new company does is send you an email that says new employee, it's John, and he's a medium. And the next day, John's shirts and sweatshirt and whatever arrives, and of course, seasonally you're going to be replenishing that, but it's fulfillment. People will pay a premium for that, not to have the headache of ordering shirts and having them sitting on a shelf in the back room. So it's a great way to build a business, and there's no face-to-face. It's just, you offer that. And think about all the different companies that you could do this for. My pool guy was here yesterday, and they have a crew of pool cleaners that are all over the city, and they have their wrapped trucks that they park in front of your house, and they, like everybody else, they go through a lot of shirts. You get splashed with enough chlorine, and that shirt is suddenly has white spots all over it, and you need a new one. So offering fulfillment is a great way to build your business, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great point, Terry.
Another one, Aaron, and is setting up your own niche market stores online. And we've talked to people here on the show that have dozens of stores, and if you're not doing this right now, you're going to soon be in the minority, because everybody is doing this, setting up stores online. So you can set up a store for yourself, selling into whatever niche market that you want to sell into. But you can also do it for customers, and we've had Printavo on and some other companies that do this kind of thing for you. Stalls does it, but set up those customer stores that are only open for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Kim commented a few minutes ago, this is something she does regularly for schools, for teams, for clubs, for associations. It's again, there's no face-to-face necessarily, and a way for, especially a new business, to get out there and build up a stable of customers that you can work with all the time. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like you said, there's plenty of tools out there. There's plenty of ways to go about it. Yeah, I agree with you, Terry. If this is something that people are looking for, so it makes it easy. I mean, think about going back to maybe like a school fundraiser or something like that. What was the biggest headache for a lot of the the PTO or PTA moms, whatever it's called in your area? What was the biggest headache for them? And typically, if you'd ask them that, it was the whole coordination and management of the whole thing. They had to take their order forms out there. They had to collect all the money. They had to do all this. They had to figure out what sizes to order. And then, like you said, they'd have a double X left over, but all the smalls were gone. And so it's that whole thing. And so all you have to do is get in there and work with them. And then now you've created more perceived value. So instead of them trying to get that shirt for, $5, $6, $7 because they want to make as much profit or, put as much back into the school as possible. Now, if they don't have to do any work, it can be a $10, $11 shirt, because everything's there, and you're then delivering it to their end, to the person that bought it. You're collecting the money. You have control over all of that. You're not only collecting the money, but you're collecting the customers, and
right.
You're getting them on your email list and that kind of thing. So,
and the fact they're not professional buyers, that means you also aren't waiting to get paid. They're waiting for you to cut them their share of the check. So You're getting your money right up front.
Yep. I think that's a huge one, and like you said, we're seeing it more and more, and it definitely is going to continue to go that route. In fact, we just did, what was it? I don't know, a couple Wednesdays ago. Week from Wednesday, we actually had a whole entire training on that whole thing. We called it Win in Managing Larger Orders, but it's that idea of setting up the stores, working with people that are doing fundraisers or corporate stores or merch programs or whatever, that whole idea. And then what are all the steps that you need to take to make sure that you get the store set up right? Then how do you do that? And so on and so forth. So definitely timely in that regard, Terry, for sure. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, real quick here. Alan says, and this is not related to what we're talking about specifically here, but I think it's worth bringing up. I do think the loss of industry community is being sorely missed more than we realized. That whole get together, buy Aaron and Terry a chicken wing and a beer, that kind of community. That's what we're looking for. That is sorely missed by me.
Well, he's exactly right. I think that my best friends are folks from the industry, and sometimes the only time you ever see them are at trade shows and events like that. So it's going to be fun to finally get back together with everyone. So it's like as a vendor before the trade shows there, you're in there an hour before, walking around and catching up with people, and it's I definitely miss that.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to get back to that. All right, so that's number one, Terry. Let's get to
We're only halfway through the show.
We'll be all right. So what's the next category here? What's the next way we can kind of improve our marketing, especially in this lockdown idea?
Yeah, well, just like us, if we have a kind of a slowdown in our business, our customers do too. So one thing you can do is suggest ways for your customers to make money by new markets, products, techniques, things like that. And one thing that I used to do to make more money would be loading an order, putting an add-on item with somebody comes to you and says, I need 144 white T-shirts and sharpen your pencil because I'm calling every screen printer in town or every screen printer in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
Well, I never sharpen my pencil. First of all, I say, here's my price.
Yeah.
Because I've already figured out how much I need to charge. But rather than sharpening my pencil, I might say, okay, here's a white T-shirt and a hat for $12. Oh, and a hat. We didn't think about that. T-shirt and a hat. Think they're going to call every other screen printer in the tri-state area again to requote that? No, they're going to say, no, yeah, we're going to do that. Let's do that. I'm sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
No, I think that's a great point. And those things work. And again, yeah, people are adding the value. So it's not like you're like pulling, because like I always equate that a little bit to what happens at maybe like a car dealership, right? We can't give you the price, but we'll throw in this warranty, and it's like,
yeah,
it's that add-on, we'll give you your first 6 oil changes for free or whatever. And
right.
But that's, again, if people see the value in that, they make that decision. I think what the car dealers have gotten themselves into trouble with is they've made that such a hard sell that it just feels slimy. But if you're just like, hey, you know what, here's my price, it's $12 for the shirt and hat, and I think it's a great value. The hat's going to look awesome. Here's an example, that kind of thing. Then people really get on board for that.
Aaron, back when I was in the fraternity and sorority marketplace, especially fraternities. Well, hey, you said you wanted these 2 beer wine glasses, and those are $14.95 a set with, about $10 profit. And, but hey, if you buy today, we're going to give every guy in the house a shot glass with your Greek letters on it for free. And absolutely, that's your free shot glass. It says Sigma Nu on it. I didn't even print those myself, even though I could, because there was a company that would do those for me for 25 cents a piece. Oh, you need 100 of them? Okay, 25 cents a piece. So, but it's adding on, loading up that order to make it more appealing to your customer. So, and
Yeah.
that's something you can certainly suggest to your customers to do as well. And, Aaron, and the stores we were talking about setting up, our customers are they're not professional buyers, and
Yep.
maybe also don't have the best taste in the world. And so they're going to say, oh no, I want this item just like this. And I have to confess, I got this from Kim, because she was showing me some shirts the other day that she had done. And she said they didn't ask for these shirts for their store, but they need them. and of course, those sold better than any of the other ones, So,
Yeah.
but so they say they want this in their store. You could say, hey, listen, let me also add a couple of these items, and let's keep in mind you're the expert. If you're in this decorating industry, you probably came into it with an eye for this kind of thing. What sells for your other customers, so you can add to the order. You can get more profit for you and more profit for your customer by suggesting some things like that as well. So
no, I think all of these things that you're talking about, especially in this segment here, Terry, to me is that whole idea of that you're not a salesperson. You're not out there selling to your customers. You're a consultant for them. You're out there again helping them. When you talked about the stores, that whole thing, the PTO team, they're going to want everything. Oh my God, we have to have one of these, and we got to have all this in our store. And what they don't realize is that then the people that are going to buy that are going to be so overwhelmed that they're not going to be able to pick out one thing. And so you're going to say, great, I get it. But let's focus, right? I mean, if you were presented with that many options, would you be able to make a quick decision and part with the $20 for the shirt or whatever the case may be? So here's the top products, and then, give them 10 products and go from there. So I think being a consultant, Eric, his old quote of be a consultant, not a commodity. So what's next here, Terry?
Well, when I was working on this list this past week, I started thinking about, I was thinking about Uline, and anybody that buys from Uline, you also get that little catalog. Yep. And if you bought this much, exactly. Well, I'm talking about the one with products in it for you because you bought a certain number of things. And so,
okay. All right.
So I've got my Kansas City Chiefs cooler around the corner here from them, and I thought if you sell to some big corporations, some companies have lots of employees, you could also set up a store like that, and they buy. Or I'm sorry, the employees earn credits for showing up to work on time every day for a month. You get so much credit, and you can set up that store, and then you just bill that employer for everything that the folks get, and it's a perk for the employees. It builds goodwill for management, and so. Does that make sense? Like a corporate store where employees could come and get products that may be logoed apparel or that sort of thing.
Yeah. Actually, there was a thing that Jeremy Pickering, I think is it Pickering? Picker. Sorry, Jeremy. Jeremy, we'll go with that.
Jeremy's not marketing stuff very well. You don't know his name, and he is king of marketing.
Well, he had shared something over on LinkedIn. And it was Vivint. It's an alarm company out of Utah, and they didn't call it an employee. It was basically like a bonus store. Like employees could earn credits to then go in and store. But they went all in on this thing and went really big with it. And I think there's so many opportunities there to, again, you've got these places like Dropbox and other places that they've lost that water cooler scenario. So how is it that they rally the troops? How is it that they get them all to feel part of the community? And again, one of the things I love so much about our industry and what we get to do is that no matter what, even if we're virtual, we still have the ability to, have these, I feel like I'm part of the Our Success Group community because I'm drinking out of a coffee mug with that logo on it, right? I can see it, I can feel it, I can remember the experiences. it's that tangible, touchy thing. Is that a technical term? that we get to
I think the term is
hold on to.
touchy-feely.
Yeah, touchy-feely, right? So it's just how we can identify ourselves as being part of a community, and these companies, they want to create a community with their employees, and I think that's a great way to do it. So great example, Terry.
Yeah, Aaron, I think I talked about this on the show once before, but my son Mike down in Austin, the company he works for, they had a management retreat, but they couldn't go on a retreat. They all did it at home, and so he got 3 boxes.
Yeah.
Day 1, day 2, and day 3, and it had it had bling in it, and it had all kinds of things. It had snacks in it. You could do that for companies. You could put together that care package that has the coffee mug and
Yep.
So
Yep. A swag box. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And,
For sure.
and that kind of thing's going to continue. They're going to,
Yep.
companies are going to say, you know what, we're not going to Jamaica this year, but we're gonna do this thing for you instead. And my favorite part was the last night they were going to have a cocktail hour, and somebody knocked on the door with a box of cigars, and everybody had cigars for their cocktail party.
There you go. There you go. So Terry, Charles says it's best to have 2 to 4 items at a time, have multiple fundraisers with a couple of items instead of one fundraiser with 20 products. It's a really good point. And Dean says
better for us too, as decorators.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because there's more opportunities, and if people have one fundraiser for 20 products, they're going to pick, 1, maybe 2, and then they're done, right? But if there's multiple fundraisers with just a couple products, they're going to end up buying 1 at each fundraiser and go from there. So Dean says now you always put a mask in the store, and that'll be interesting to see too where that goes. I think Americans are not good mask wearers. We don't like it. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times you go somewhere where everybody's got their mask on and it's this the whole time. It's like they're just pulling it down to talk. It's like you're missing the point here, right? You leave the mask on until you walk away. But hey, whatever. Or the people who wear it to hold up their chin, apparently. I don't know what that's all about. Anyhow, but yes, masks are still a big business.
But if you're double masking, is the one underneath decorated?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you're going to keep doing this, I don't know. So all good points. Let's see a couple other quick comments here, Terry, before we get back to number 3 at 10:42 a.m. Central Time. So company, and Eric says company incentive programs did that for a huge local power company, have done that exact model. So there you go. Lisa says, great idea with multiple benefits. Brian says, and the promo items are less expensive than the normal office environment for those working from home now. It's not a cost increase. It just makes people feel connected.
Right.
Great point. And Christine says, never underestimate the value of coming up with the idea. Customers are always looking for something cool that will get those around them talking. If you can give them an idea that hasn't been done a million times, you're ahead of the game.
And Christine's right, because they're not going to go shop that. They're not going to say, that's a great idea. Now let me call all the decorators in town and see what they'd charge me for that. They're going to buy. You came up with the idea. They're going to buy it from you.
Exactly. Because when you come up with the idea, you've got the secret sauce, right? You know how to pull it off. They may have a kind of a general idea, but if they were to go shop that around, there's little bits and pieces of a swag box and a merch program and getting the cigars to show up at the right time and all that other stuff that you have to figure out. And once you figure that out, that becomes your secret sauce, right? So
and right back to the beginning, make it easy.
Make it easy. There you go. So and then Charles says the mask is the new goatee. So maybe I'll just cover my goatee with the mask. That's a good. All right, there we go. All right, so number 3, Terry. What's next on the list here?
Well, I'm going to credit this one to our good friend Jay Bassell. Ways to keep in contact with your customers. Maybe they're buying from you now. Maybe they're not. But send your best customers a care package that lets them know you're thinking about them. And again, it's that same package, with the mask, with the coffee mug, with, other things. And just to say, hey, I when things are back to normal, I'm looking forward to doing business with you again. Or maybe they're doing business with you right now, but getting that surprise package,
Yeah.
it makes people feel good about you and doing business with you. And you can offer that same care package. Hey, I'll do the care package for you, and I'll drop ship it to all your customers for you. So, right back to making it easy.
Make it easy, yeah. And I think again that whole concept, Pete Lovelace talked a lot about that when he was on with us not too long ago, and that whole idea of that, understanding and learning the fulfillment side of things is important, and it's not easy. You think, oh, okay, I just throw a label on it and ship it. It's not that easy, right? You have to understand, you have to get ahead of it. You have to realize that the shipping companies are overwhelmed. You have to figure out, policies and procedures up front. You got to figure out what you're going to do when things arrive in multiple pieces. All of that stuff becomes part of this fulfillment process that you're now responsible for, and in turn, then you should be charging for that. So if you're going and okay, I'm going to make this easy for my customers, and you're going to keep your prices the same as when you were handing them a stack of shirts, you're not going to be able to survive very long like that, because there's costs that are going to occur, and people are willing to pay for these things. So
right. Well, and because they're in the past, they've paid an employee to do all this, the sorting and handing out and all that sort of thing. You're taking that away as well. So you're in the end saving the money, even though you're charging a little bit more.
Yep, exactly. That's a good point, Terry. And it's your job as the consultant to help them see that, right? And put together the spreadsheet for them, help them understand. Okay, well, this is in lieu of the travel budget. This is in lieu of the taking your customers or taking your employees to Jamaica or wherever, that kind of thing. So and help them say, but we can create a very similar feeling by doing these things. So exactly. And then real quick, Terry, two things here. Christine says, I love it when Terry says Christine's right. So sorry, I didn't see you were drinking. And then Kevin asked a really good question. It says, if you see a customer has gone to another supplier without ever having issues, do you just move on or push to get them back? So I'll take that real quick, and then I'll give you a chance to give your take on that too, Terry. But so Kevin, I would say, not necessarily that your focus is a push to get them back, but you might not have seen an issue. They had an issue. Otherwise they wouldn't leave. So if they left, you've given them value in the past. I think that there's no reason you should not. And if you don't get a response, you don't get a response. But I would push to not necessarily get them back, but I would push to get the information about why they left. Right. And if they're already gone, it's not like you're going to, send them away again. Maybe there's a chance that they could come back, but I would just be really professional about it. I would be really upfront about it and be really honest about the fact that, hey, we thought things were going well. Could you help us understand why you went to another supplier? We'd love to be able to earn your business back, but we'd really honestly just love to know how we can better service our customers in the future. And so we would be very grateful for any feedback you could give us. So anyhow, what's your idea on that, Terry?
Well, and also if they left because of price, two things. One, I don't know that we want a customer that will is loyal to you until somebody sells them something for 25 cents less. Yep. The other part of that is they'll probably be back if they left for price. And I just saw an example about 2 weeks ago of a company that, a regular customer for someone that left because there's a new screen printer in town and they offered a way better price. And then of course they got burned badly because that new screen printer had obviously not been to my class, because they had cured the underbase on the shirts, which means, rather than gel the ink, which means that the first wash, all the colors washed off the shirts. So, the nickel and dime customer, those folks, they can go somewhere else anyway, because I don't want a nickel and dime customer. I want somebody that knows they're buying from me for quality and for service. So
yeah, exactly. And, I would just take that story there that you told, and I'd just say, well, you actually apparently just paid for a one color shirt, and and oh, and by the way, our prices have gone up since. So
that's right. Now that I realize I do it so much better than that guy.
exactly. All right. Well, what's where are we at here, Terry? What are we on, number 4?
Number 4, and this could actually be the entire show, but engage on social media. It's been important for years. Now it's critically important. And we had Mel Lay on the show last week, and she is my favorite story about telling your story. And everybody wants to hear why you're there, how you got there, what's your meaning and purpose in life. In the past I was a screen printer. Now, I would if I were still an active printer, I'd have to tell more of a story than that. Maybe it's sustainability, whatever. But when Mel started her business in her garage because she wanted to be home with her young kids, she was all over social media. And I've had people say this to me: nobody wants to see me print a shirt. Everybody wants to see you print a shirt. If you've ever had anybody walk into your shop, they make a beeline for the screen printing press, or to the DTG machine, or to the embroidery machine, because everybody's fascinated by it, because we see it every day. But it's so important to tell your story, make people feel warm and fuzzy about you and about buying from you. So
and I think right along with that, Terry, though, it's about telling your story, but it's just about sharing your service, right? You're doing a service that is of value. Mm-hmm. People are willing to pay you for the service that you do. And so therefore it's of value. Therefore it's worth sharing, because people go, oh, I just don't want to intrude. I don't want to be that pushy salesperson. I don't want to overdo it. Well, it's actually the opposite of that. You're actually taking away an opportunity from somebody that you could provide value to. So you've just yanked that value away from them because they don't know about you. And I have yet to meet anybody in our decorators community that I would go, wow, that they just do too much, right? They're online too much. They do too many live videos. They do. I mean, and maybe because I come from a place that I just want to share.
What about Eric? No, just kidding.
Oh, we just lost our producer. Great.
Yeah, my sound just went off.
But and I know this is kind of getting to your next point here. And so maybe let's cover that next point, and then I'll come and kind of finish my story about this, because this is really important to me. So go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just, my next point was give value, just like you were saying, and do not come on social media and offer to sell me something. When I go on Twitter and everybody that follows me, I go and look at them, and I look at the last 5 or 6 posts they've done. And if every one of those is, T-shirts $8.95, I'm not going to follow you back. I don't care. But if every post is, look at this awesome shirt I did for XYZ company, and I'm like, I definitely want to check that out, and you're not pitching me on something, but you're offering something of value to your audience.
Yeah. And I that's exactly it right there. In fact, couple of quick comments, and then I'll kind of close out my point here too. Susan says, customers who appreciate the service we offer over the products we sell are good customers. And then she follows that up with, we went to trade shows and would stand watching shirts being printed, and that's what we do for a living, right? I mean, because we do want to see, example. Yeah, we do want to see. Can we pick up that one little nugget of, oh, look at the angle there that's a little bit different than how I do it, or the technique or whatever. So we all want to do this. And then Kevin says, right now, if you're not actively working the virtual world and social media, you don't exist. So
yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and again, my point about all this is just what you had said there. You need to give value, but you got to realize what value is. And it's not come buy my product or do this. it's share something. It's, let them in behind the curtain, have honest conversations. I mean, heck, I started doing this thing. So I keep kind of trying to better myself physically because I'm not where I want to be from a physical standpoint. I'm a little too heavy and I need to get the blood pressure back down. And I've kind of taken on some different quote unquote challenges and things like that. And I just haven't ever really completed them or done a great job kind of pushing to the finish line. And I was thinking about that yesterday and I just couldn't figure out why. Like, why is that? And I still don't know if I know the answer to that. But I also had another friend of mine that invited me to this Facebook group that is the only point of it is a 20-day challenge of doing a 2-minute plank every day. 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes.
You have 2 minutes to spare, right?
Yeah, I can find 2 minutes, I've tried the 10,000 steps. I haven't been able to make enough time to make that happen, blah, blah, blah. I can do 2 minutes. And so I did that. I did it for the first time this morning. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to help myself be accountable to this. I'm going to do it in front of a Facebook Live video on my personal page. And I talked about it. And I mean, people tuned in and were encouraging me, and I'm grunting and groaning and sounding like a total moron. And because it was hard. You think 2 minutes, I'm like 30 seconds in and I'm about ready to shake myself to death. But anyhow, my point is that's value, right? Maybe I inspire somebody else. I'm getting value from them inspiring me. Maybe somebody else thinks, hey, maybe I can do something to better myself and to better my life because of that. So I think that if you're doing something, it's a value and you should share it in the social media world because that's where we're at right now. So there's my soapbox for right now.
Well, and Aaron, also in social media, and I hesitate to use the term influencers because, everybody has a picture in their mind of somebody pretending they're in Paris and posing in front of a really bad green screen of the Eiffel Tower.
Let's just say it, Terry. Everybody says influencers. I think Kardashians right away. That's
exactly. But I thought Jim Raffle last week from when we were on his podcast, the Die Subcast podcast.
Yeah.
He gave a great example, and he said that there's a doctor that he follows on social media, and he offered to send him a couple of the Gator face masks that he decorates, and what would you like on them? And he said he sent him like 3 face masks and he wanted dogs on his face mask. And then, of course, this doctor posts a picture of himself wearing it. And Jim said he got out like $2,000 in orders for those face masks. So, what a simple thing to do. What was his cost involved in that, including shipping? $5, and he made $2,000 just from this influencer wearing that. And so I just thought that was a really great example he gave last week on the podcast we were guests on. So.
Yeah. And I agree with the influencer thing. Influencers are different than what we think they are, right? It isn't the Kardashians and that kind of thing. I mean, I guess it could be if that was your target, but for most of us, the influencers are the local doctor, the local, the people that are out there and have following, because most of the time it has nothing to do with how many people are following them. It has everything to do with how engaged their following is with them, and there are people out there that say, hey, I like this thing. And everybody that follows them goes and buys it. I mean, it just, they've built that trust with their following that if Terry says this is good, I'm buying it. And that kind of an idea. So I think that's a great point. So a couple more comments here, Terry. Christine says, I talk about this in the seminar I'm doing for DAX. Social media is a great way to build connection and trust, and people buy from people and people buy from people and companies they trust. And then Dale says, work fascinates me. I can watch it for hours. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I don't do embroidery. I know very little about it. I know a lot more about it now, thanks to friends like Brian and Eric and Christine and Lisa Shaw and that kind of thing. But I'll sit and watch a jacket being embroidered. It fascinates me. I have no idea why, but hey, I'll sit and watch it forever.
Yeah, me too. It's like
Yeah.
you fall into a trance.
Yeah, exactly. And then Brian says, yesterday I was driving and saw vehicle advertising something I wanted. I couldn't get the phone number, but clearly got the name. Went to look, and they amazingly had no online presence, zero zip. And I thought, how can this be possible? But then realized if they can't even put a page up, I probably don't want to work with them anyways. So there you go. That's a really good point there. So, all right, let's get to number 5.
We're going to be able to do it, and
Yes.
this is an easy one.
All right.
Be better at what you do, and let's be honest. Many of our competitors phone it in. I always tell my screen printing classes, and regulators have heard me say this 100 times. There are lots and lots and lots of screen printers. There aren't very many good screen printers, and that's true of all decoration. It's just appalling, some of the things that you see people out there selling to customers, and just separate yourself by being better at what you do. Return phone calls, respond to emails promptly. And you say, well, that's a simple thing. Well, if you've ever tried to hire a handyman for you to do some work at your house, you'll find out that, and when they do call you back and say, I'll be there on Tuesday, they never come. I was just talking to Jeff Morgenthaler yesterday. He's been trying to get some work done in his bathroom, and he finally said to me yesterday, I'm just doing it myself. I can't get anybody to actually show up here to do the work. I have money. I want to pay them. Yep. So just be better. Make a professional presentation with everything you do. The packaging, the folded garments, your business card. Most people are never going to walk into your shop. Make sure you have a business card that makes you look like not only a professional, but a creative professional. People want to see creativity from people that they're going to buy decorated apparel from. I've told this story. I'm repeating myself again. I've told this story before, but when my daughter was at Desert Mountain High School in Scottsdale, and she went to get her wolf den, because they're the wolves and you have to wear your wolf den shirt to the football games, and they were just like tossing, Riley, what size did you order? I think it was a small. Tossing her a small, and that is an order waiting to be stolen by you, because all those shirts should be individually bagged. They should have had the size on them, the student's name, sorted out in alphabetical order, and you show up with that, then who are they going to buy from in the future? They're buying from you, because you made it so much easier, back to number 1, easier for them to deal with. So.
Yeah, totally. And I've got a couple of points here, Terry, on this one I'd like to share. So you had mentioned in the first point there that many of the competitors have phoned it in, and honestly, even if they haven't phoned it in, like you said, many of them haven't figured it out. I mean, you gave a great example of somebody that became a screen printer, thought it was easy, and didn't realize that they shouldn't cure the interbase all the way for whatever reason, right? They didn't figure it out. So, and that is more rampant than you would even imagine. I mean, heck, we see it all the time in the sublimation world. Some of the stuff that people like post in some of these groups is like, oh, here's this latest thing that I did. And I'm sitting there looking at it going, oh my God, please tell me that did not leave your shop. But that's their finished product. They're super proud of it. And that's great. That's their thing. But what I hear is then everybody's complaining about, oh, there's all these crafters and all these people, Cricut just came out with a mug press. And so now I think that's the greatest thing that could ever happen for a professional decorator. It's this idea of, okay, that bar is super low, so you don't have to be all that much better to be above it, but you're going to go ahead and push yourself up to your bar. And now those crafters are creating all of these potential customers for you. Yes, they may get the first sale, but they're going to end up with that piece of crap. And it's your job to be out there enough so people look at you and go, oh yeah, I got that mug, and this one kind of sucked, but man, this guy seems like he knows what he's doing, or this gal seems like she knows what she's doing. She's talking about quality, talking about how they've been doing it differently, and talking about how they get training and they, use professional equipment and all this other stuff. I think that's that these crafters and this wave of crafters that we're going to continue to see coming into our industry is awesome for business. I think it's going to just drive more and more people to want personalized products. And, like you said, how do you set yourself above that? So that's the first point. Sorry. If you want to follow up on that, go for it, Terry.
No, you keep going.
Okay. And then the second point there is you talked about, responding to phone calls and emails promptly. And yeah, I think we all have the story about, trying to get, heck, I've got 22 windows in my house that I need replaced. Pretty much all of my windows are original and old, and we just need to replace them. And just getting somebody here to give us a quote is like pulling teeth, just getting them to respond to us. And you go to their website and they never respond to emails and, all this other stuff. So that's huge, I think. And here's the deal. I talk about this all the time inside of our success group and just kind of in general. And I borrow this, I stole this, however you want to look at it, from Jay Bear. This whole idea that speed is a choice. Right. We don't realize it. We think, okay, we get the email and, we're kind of busy, but we all have our phones. We all have access to this stuff a lot. So you make that choice to respond and say, hey, thanks. I don't know, I need to go. You don't have to know the answer is my point, right? You can just respond, tell them, okay, I'll follow up on Monday. It's like, hey, out with the family. I'll get back with you as soon as I can on Monday morning. And then, some people will go, oh, that's not soon enough. Maybe not the type of person you wanted to work with. Or maybe you go, okay, well, I don't have it in front of me. Can you? But anyhow, that whole idea that, responding and these are my hours and all this other stuff, totally understand that. You should totally be part of that. But at the same time, you can make that choice to be there especially for the core customers that you want. So,
well, yeah. And if you don't respond and think, well, I'll just get back with them on Monday, they think their phone call or their email is falling into the abyss, and even when you call them back on Monday, in the back of their minds, it's like, it took that guy 3 days to get back to me. That's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And you're right. And you're right. Just being acknowledged. I don't have that information right now. Let me find it and I'll get back with you.
Yeah. And you say, can I get back with you on Monday? And, 99% of them are going to be, yeah, that's totally fine. And, some people might be not okay with that, but they might be nice about it and say, hey, I really could use this information today. Is there any chance you could do that? And then you can make that decision. And then, the people that are rude about it, you figured it out before you had to deal with them anyway. So there you go.
Right.
So a couple more comments here, Terry, and then we can close this out. But let's see here. Eric says, you have to reach out. You can't wait for it to come to you. This is the sample drop of the current climate. There you go. Like that point. Brian says the corollary to being better at what you do is to learn to love what you do. If you do, that will be obvious to all around you. And that feeling is infectious to your team and your customers. So, and then on my Windows saga, Todd says we ordered Windows last June. They're getting installed next week. Thanks, COVID. So I get it. That it's not easy, but again, you could still respond. So that's all I'm asking.
Right.
All right. Anything that we missed there, Terry?
I think we covered it all in almost within the hour allotted.
All right. Good. Yeah, we're pretty close. A little overtime here. Dean says, try living in an area that doesn't have cell service. People get upset if I don't get back in 15 seconds. And Dean, my devil's advocate to that would be, make sure you're clear about that. Make sure that, we might not be able to reach you or have a different way. You can get if you got internet, you can do like a Google Voice number instead and be able to get those calls. I mean, there's ways to solve that. And again, you don't have to get back to them in 15 seconds, but you have to set the expectation. And that's what will keep them from getting upset. If they still get upset after you've set the expectation, then yes, not somebody you want to work with and move on. Just my 2 cents there. All right, Terry. Well, so this would normally be where we'd have 5 things, but regulators, we don't have 5 things. We need you guys to come through. So I love the little intro to the 5 things, because I get that nice energy. So we're going to play it anyhow, and then I'm going to tell you how you can submit 5 things. All right. Thank you, Eric. Sorry about that. I like the beat, and plus it gives us a little break and get into this. Really quickly, Eric's got it up on the screen. If you're watching live, just shoot your idea for 5 things over to info@tworegularguys.com. If you'd like to record yourself doing it, go for it. Send that over. If you'd like to jump on with us and be live with us at the end of the show, let us know about that. Just reach out. I mean, any way that you can possibly think about getting it to us, I'm pretty sure we'll find it. Post it on our social media. Again, we want your 5 things. We want to have these conversations. This is a way to kind of give us something to kind of end the show on, where you're thinking about it, where you're kind of going, okay, those are 5 points. Let me think on those. Right? We get better. Be better at what you do. Right, Terry? There. So
our presentation today was 5 things. So I guess we did do 5 things.
Yeah. Christine says writing a 5 things isn't hard. I did 3 of them in a reasonable amount of time. Yes, we thank you very much, Christine. We went through all 3 of yours, and they were all fantastic. And again, just a great way to share what you know about, share what you're thinking about. And we also then make sure everybody knows who they came from, and we're happy to promote anything that Christine's got going on in exchange for her 5 things. No, we're happy to do that with Christine anyhow. But again, just send them over. info@tworegularguys.com. Probably the easiest way, but whatever's easiest for you is fine by us. So, all right, Terry. And yeah, you did. I now that you mention it, you already did 5 things just as a whole show.
Didn't even think of it about it till this very minute.
Good job. All right, Terry, what do you got coming up here?
Next week, we already talked about the DAX online seminars. March 25th, I'm going to be doing a seminar on what equipment and supplies do I really need to buy when I start a screen printing business. And lots of information. We'll be able to ask questions about prices and things like that as well. So jump over there onto that. You can find that at daxshow.com. My complete screen printing business course, live and in person. I'm going to be at Workhorse Products in Phoenix, April 17th and 18th. I'm going to be in Chicago at Atlas Screen Supply, May 22nd and 23rd, and all my upcoming events. It's a short list right now. You can find at terrycombs.com under the tour dates tab.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, the fact that there is a list, though, is a start. So exactly. I remember when Terry's big book of travels was pretty lonely.
Right. The big book of good intentions.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be taken in a lot of different ways. So, all right, for me, coming up in about a little more than 15 minutes, we've got the half with Eric Campbell and I. It's 30 minutes of Q&A. It's a lot of fun. And it's just this opportunity to really kind of have some fun with the fact that Eric and I both like to stretch things out much longer than it needs to be. So we cut off right at 30 minutes. In fact, it's almost become a little bit of a game or a wagering system of who's going to be in the middle of their sentence when they get cut off. And so that's been happening for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and we've had a blast with that. And believe we're sharing some really good information and having really good conversations with the people that are tuning in. So you can find that over at all of Eric's pages. You can find it at ericcampbell.com, but then just search Eric Campbell on Facebook, or you can search Eric Campbell on YouTube and find him there. Or if you want to go to liveosg.com, that will take you to the Our Success Group YouTube page, or you can find it on our Facebook page at Our Success Group Pro is where you'll find our Facebook page. So any of those 4 places, you'll be able to tune in about, like I said, about 15 minutes here. Then, as you mentioned, we've got the DAX seminars coming up. I'll just share the titles of both of mine here real quick. The first one's called Conquering Fear and Living to Tell About It. And the second one I get to do is called Finding Your Niche for More Success. And those are April 5th and April 7th, respectively. So that window of time's happening here. We've got Clay from Curl Trainer joining us here with the link to the DAX show. in the comments, and he's got a great seminar coming up next Tuesday. And then last thing for me, Terry, is Small Business Saturdays this week. It happens live inside of our Success Group private members group. And this week we're going to get to talk to health insurance expert. His name's Scott Stream. And we're going to talk about how small businesses can manage health insurance, navigate the marketplace and the Affordable Care Act. And because a lot of people that are small businesses, one of the biggest challenges of jumping from side gig into full-time business is the fact that now health insurance is a lot different, right? Your day job used to take care of the health insurance. So Scott's going to join us and help us kind of figure that out. What are some creative ways? He's been in the industry for 35, 40 years, something like that. In fact, even worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. So he knows all the ins and outs of this, and he's going to be joining us this Saturday morning. If you're not a member, you certainly can become a member. Just go to oursuccessgroup.com. And if you'll use the code 2RG, that'll get you 20% off the membership. So you can become a member and be in the live. If the membership's not for you, this episode will be coming out as a podcast, probably about 3 to 5 months typically out. That's the rotation. We've got them in line from where we've been doing them, and then they just come out as podcast episodes, and you can find those at smallbusinesssaturdayspodcast.com. So, and then yes, Todd, good point. He says we've got a goal setting webinar coming up on April 14th at 1 p.m. and sign up details will be coming soon, but this will be open to everybody. We're gonna teach you how to set goals in an awesome little webinar that we're going to get to do on the 14th of April. So stay tuned over at oursuccessgroup.com or on our social media there. So, and then last couple things here, Terry. In fact, if you'd like, you want to go ahead and share what Eric's got coming up here, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric on his show at 2:30 Mountain Daylight Time. Now that's 1:30 Mountain Standard Time, which.
Oh, that's right. We're back to that.
Yeah, it's episode number 57 of the Take Up, and today it's defining good customers, designs, and marketing for machine embroidery. He's going to be at DAX Virtual. Tuesday, March 23rd, from creative hobby to cottage industry. And then on March 30th, he'll be doing everyday e-commerce for embroiderers. And Eric has a new webinar coming soon. Yeah, a lot of ease. For
Eric, everyday e-commerce embroiderers. Okay, all right. Go eat. All right, so that's happening March 30th. Sorry about that. And then Eric does have new webinar coming up soon. In fact, I'm pinning him down today or tomorrow at the latest. So I'm looking at you, Eric. You're not going anywhere, buddy. All right. Even though he's bigger than me, I can wrestle him to the ground. All right. Well, excited about that. So stay tuned. Again, go over to ericcampbell.com. And he says, yes, it's like I did that on purpose. Knowing Eric, he's a very cerebral guy, and that was totally on purpose. So, all right. Well, everybody, we've come to the close of another show here today. Terry, fantastic job bringing this all together. As I mentioned, I love talking about marketing, and so it was really a pleasure to get to hear your take on it. And I want to just share this last little thought with folks before we close here. Is you think about, if you're thinking about Terry screen printing classes, and you're maybe on the fence about it, just do it, because Terry's not only going to teach you how to screen print so the colors don't fall off. He's going to teach you how to run your business. He's going to bring his experience. He's going to teach you marketing. He's going to teach you how to be more proficient and productive friendly. I love Terry's idea of 52-15. So how you can get better every day, or every week, I guess it would be the case in that regard. So if you're on the fence about Terry's classes, just make the plunge. It'll be totally worth it for you. And you'll get to spend 2 days hanging out with Terry too. And that's a lot of fun.
Exactly. Well, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
Hey, we also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, for keeping things running smoothly and for not muting my mic when I made fun of him. So thanks, Eric, for all you do in the behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is awesome. Terry, next week we're going to have Adrian Palmer, the editor of Screen Printing Magazine, joining us. We've got a lot of amazing stuff to go over with her. We're going to talk about some trends in screen printing. We're going to talk about social media and how that's evolved from her vantage point, and really just the cool stuff that they've got going on over at Screen Printing Magazine. As you mentioned before, she's everywhere right now, and I think she's doing a fantastic job with Screen Printing Magazine. Really kind of they've got a new regular email that I'm getting from them, all of the stuff that they're doing in collaboration with other folks. She's even started a podcast of her own, so we'll talk to her about that. Really great stuff from her. So we're excited to talk to her.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.